disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
Welcome once again to another episode of Fists, Kicks, and Flicks, the podcast about martial arts, movies, and life. I am your host, Eugene Plowden, and with me this week, I was about to say my podcast partner. Well, one of my podcast partners, Alex Dingman. What's up, Alex?
What's happening, guys?
If this is your first time with us, I want you to know we are members of the Martial Arts Internet Network. On Mondays, Raw is on hiatus still. So Tuesdays, we got CTE, Chris Los, and Travis Experience. Wednesdays is Fists, Kicks, and Flicks. And on Thursdays, you can get the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. For more information, you can check us out on all of our social media platforms. Just look for the Martial Arts Internet Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Alex, it's showtime. What's happening?
What's happening, Gene?
Nothing much, man. Everything good?
Everything's good, man. I'm really excited. I'd never watched this movie before that we're about to review.
Yeah.
And I was kind of psyched about it because when I looked and I saw like, all right, when this thing came out, I was like, all right, that was like the era for great martial arts, but bad movies.
Right.
And this movie did not fail. It is exactly that. Right?
I you know what? If this movie came out now in 2021, I don't think a lot of people would care for it too much.
No.
You know, it's a little corny, it's a little hacky. But you know, I didn't have that much. I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, I kind of laughed at some points because it was just a little bit too silly. But overall, it was all right.
Yeah, I don't think if it came out today, if you weren't in martial arts, I don't think you'd have made it past the second scene.
Probably not.
I don't think you would have. It was so slow moving.
Yeah.
With nothing happening.
Yeah. I mean, well, we'll get to that in a minute, you know. But before we get into the movie we're going to watch, ladies and gentlemen, is called The Perfect Weapon. Came out in 1991. I have never heard of this movie before. I didn't even know it existed. I was just looking at on Google, looking up martial arts movies to watch, and I saw it, and I immediately sent you a text message and like, hey, you want to jump on this and review this with me? And you said, yeah, for sure. So, you know, we watched it.
You picked a good one. Because Jeff Speakman's he's the main actor.
Right.
In the movie, his name is Jeff as well.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
He's a legit martial artist.
I was wondering that because it seemed like he was. He did not seem like an actor that was portraying a martial artist.
Oh, no, he's a real Kempo guy.
Okay. That makes sense because I kind of felt that as I was watching the movie.
Yeah, he was good. And that's the other thing. You know what, though? I'll probably mention it at one point throughout the movie. It was like a breath of fresh air to me watching the movie because, okay, let's put it in context, right? It's 1991.
Right.
So nobody's doing XMA in the movie because probably the most extreme thing anybody really did in martial arts was maybe they did a backflip, but they were like, it was like taboo. It was like, it's gymnastics. We don't do that stuff in martial arts. It was like, you'd have to do like a running jump side kick and you were like, right. That was the coolest thing in 1991. Right?
Or those roundhouse kicks in a circle.
Yeah, you're not lying. But that's the thing, though. So now you're watching it, and all the martial arts is 100% applicable. Everything that he did or that happened in the movie, I'm like, yeah.
I got you.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't think you've ever reviewed it, but there was like On Bak is like a really good martial arts movie, and he's Muay Thai martial artist. He's very good. Lots of really good stuff. But then at one point, like one scene, he does like a 900 and like front kicks a guy in the chest. I was like, come on now. People, it's not possible. Stop. Right? So there's none of that. This is all real martial arts, which I thought, all right, this is a cool breath of fresh air. I like this.
Yeah, also one of the things that I was thinking about as I was watching the movie, one of the criticisms I had was it seems like martial arts movies only cover three things, right? You either have someone whose brother or dad or best friend gets beat up and now the hero wants revenge, right? Or it is about drugs, or it's about some type of competition, some type of tournament. It seems
you just summed up every martial arts movie ever.
Except the only one that never really covered any of that was the Karate Kid Part 2. That was more so about honor and respect. It had nothing to do with a tournament. It had nothing to do with drugs. No one got, really messed up, in that movie.
You got a point.
and then of course the Cobra Kai series, it's a little bit more creative than a lot of the martial arts movies that came out, in earlier times.
Word.
All right. Well, let me ask you this before we jump into the movie, man. How was your holiday? How was your holiday season?
It was good. Right. So like Christmas was interesting. So ever since my kids have been born, which is not like that long, like on Saturday, my daughter's gonna be 4, right?
Okay.
So for 4 years, or 5, I've not gone back home to Minnesota for Christmas or New Year's. I've not done that. Okay. So it's been here all the time. So we go to my wife's house, which they live like a mile and a half from us. So we go there, and I had to learn a different speed. So you can already, I talk with my hands. I'm loud. I'm boisterous. I'm animated. That is not her family whatsoever. So on Christmas, the first Christmas we did over at her house, she's like, yeah, we're going to go over there. We do breakfast in the morning, and then we do gifts, and we just kind of hang out. So I'm like, all right, it's cool. It sounds good to me. So we're doing that, and nobody's putting on the NBA. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I don't know what else to watch, but, It's a Wonderful Life. It's all right. It's cool. So, and then
that's my favorite Christmas. That's my favorite Christmas movie.
So her dad, this is another side note, then I'll get back to it. Her dad, he always has the control, the remote control, and he calls it, kid you not, he calls it the scepter of power. Kid you not. So just don't even ask, right? So we're doing that. So about 3:30, 4 o'clock, I'm like, are we going to do anything today? What are we doing? She's like, no, this is what we do. Right. Now, we got there at like 9:30 in the morning. Right. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, what do you mean? Like, we haven't done anything. Right. So he goes, yeah, this is just what we do. This is all we do. We just sit and then we just eat occasionally. And we don't do anything else. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to learn this stuff.
No, nobody was talking. Like, it wasn't conversation.
Oh, yeah. You do that every now and then.
Okay.
But you got to remember, like, she's one of 7. Right.
So there's a lot of people there.
Yeah. But they don't have a big house. It's like 1,100 square feet, right?
Okay.
It's small. So there's 9 people in general, just between the parents and their kids. But now there's spouses, and then there's grandkids. So
okay,
the house didn't get any bigger. All right. So eventually you're like, oh, there's nowhere to sit, because there is nowhere to sit. All right. So you're like, right. Oh, I don't know what am I going to do? All right. I'll see if I can find a floor somewhere and take a nap, because that was a learned experience. But now I'm a vet at it. I know where to hide. I know where to camp out, find my nap space, which I got one. So it was cool. New Year's, what do we do? Oh, I YouTubed last year's countdown, right?
Okay.
This is what I did, right? So my kids, and my daughter's gonna be 4, my son and Marcy's gonna be 2, so they're young, right? So they don't know. Right, they know that it's going to be a new year. We're going to count down. We're going to have a big celebration. So I YouTube last year's ball drop, right? So for like 5 minutes, we're getting set up for it, and then at 6 o'clock, we did the countdown. That was it. Bang!
Oh, for them, because they're going to bed.
Heck yeah!
I got you.
That was great. Yeah, really, I just was just DJing, just for the family and the neighbors, and just having a good time here at the house, man. We had a good time.
You starting to get into that DJ thing, huh? Because I've seen it on our threads. It's been a few times that you've been DJing.
So I've been doing weddings, but now I got to the point where it's like, all right, my level is above a wedding DJ, but like let's not kid myself. I ain't that good, right? I can't do like a mix. You know, I got to stop and go back. I can't do it seamless. There's no way. I'm not that good, right? But I'm trying, right? So I do a wedding on January 1st. It's the first one I've ever done like this between Brooke and Leah. So I'd never done two bride wedding before. All right.
Okay.
I'm like, all right, this could be interesting. Never done it. We'll see what it's like. Right. It's the same. And it's the same in this. I'm gonna tell you this. The worst people I ever deal with, it's always the dads. The dads, they're the worst.
What? Because they come with suggestions of what to play?
Not just that. They think it's their wedding because they paid for it. I know. They think it's theirs. And I'm like, so now they wait until they're liquored up and it's like 11 o'clock and they're like, we're playing this song, which is clearly like a slow country song. And we are clearly in the club phase part of the night. And I'm like, I don't know how to tell you. That's not going to happen. Right. And they're like, no way. And I'm like, hey, it's either you or it's the bride. I'm picking the bride. You don't get it. And so they just get pissed. And I'm like, get pissed, whatever. I already got paid. So you do what you're going to do.
All right. Well, that's cool, man. That's cool.
What about you? How was everything?
I mean, everything was good, man. Christmas was good, man. My son got everything he wanted. My lady got what she wanted. You know, it was a little bit different. You know, my parents weren't here. They're in Florida. Trav drove down to spend Florida with them. And the other family that we have up here, you know, we weren't getting together for COVID because of COVID. So I had a solo Christmas and a solo New Year's, but it was fine, man. I mean, I got a lot of stuff done. I mean, my lady came over later on in the evening, you know, but you know, it was cool, man. I spent the day with Champ. You know, we went to his mom's house. I was at his mom's house. Let him open up his Christmas gifts over there, you know, for Santa Claus, and then he came back with me to my house. He had Christmas here because my parents left gifts for him, and then I had bought him some other gifts for here because his mom doesn't want a lot of stuff at her house also. So he kind of opened up two gifts, you know. So I told him like, hey, Santa Claus came over here too. He left some stuff for you at my house too. So he was cool with that. So we spent the day here, took him back home, and then my lady came over and we had Christmas together. And New Year's, I was here by myself chilling. You know, we talked about that on the main game review we did, you know. So I was watching Star Wars cartoons and having my own party, you know. So it was no problem, man.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it was quiet. It was relaxing until I went upstairs and, you know, the gunshots were constantly going off. I didn't hear them when I was downstairs. I didn't really hear too much gunshots. But when I went upstairs, it was a lot of shots being shot off. And this was well after midnight. It was like around 1:30, and they were still shooting out there. And some high-powered guns, too.
That's what people don't get. Those, they come down.
Exactly, yeah.
The bullets do come down.
Yeah.
And they'll put holes in roofs.
I know people who've actually had bullets come through their front window, and it's in the wall of their house. Now I'm quite sure they probably have gotten it, the bullet removed or whatever. But yeah, man, it's I don't know, man. People are just a little careless. Can be careless with shoot. I don't understand the purpose of it. You know,
don't make no sense.
I don't know. I mean, bullets are expensive, aren't they? Like, why do you just want to shoot a bullet off?
I don't even know if you can like get them. There's certain kinds where I don't even think you can get a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But let's jump into the perfect weapons now that we're talking about bullets and guns.
Yeah, let's
talk about let's talk about the perfect weapon. Okay, so Jeff, like you said, our hero of the story, his name is Jeff. What'd you say?
Yep. Yeah. I'm just agreeing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So,
yes. My bad.
I got you. All right. So our hero is named Jeff. And when we started this movie off, he is actually doing a kata, a form. He's in his living room doing forms, working up a sweat. And we also see that he was a construction worker. And he's living somewhere. They didn't explain exactly where he was. After that, he sits down and he decides to call his friend Kim. When he calls Kim answers the phone, and there are members or a member of the Korean mafia is in his antique store. Kim has an antique store, and Jeff overhears kind of like a disagreement going on between the mafia, the Korean mafia, and Kim. I guess they wanted to use his antique store to store drugs and to move drugs out of his place.
Not a bad idea.
Nobody would expect that in the antique store, right?
I actually thought about that when that part came up. I'm like, that's actually a good plan. Go ahead. Let's see what happens with this.
So, Kim is talking to he's trying to talk to Jeff and the mafia guy at the same time, and the mafia guy, I guess he's not getting the response that he wants because Kim has told him that he's not going to allow them to do it, and the mafia guy kind of pulls the cord out of the wall. So now, that's right, people. This is a telephone that's connected to the wall. The cord is actually connected. It's not a cell phone.
Oh, yeah. Cordless phones were a rare commodity then.
Right.
Cordless.
Yeah, this phone actually had a wire going into the wall, and it got snatched out. So when Jeff hears this, he decides he needs to go and check on his friend to find out what is going on, right? Now, on his way to see Kim, we actually get Jeff's backstory and we find out what his issue is. Well, I don't know. This kind of made me mad because I don't think anything that happens in this flashback is his fault. He overhears.
Agreed.
He was a young kid. I'm going to say that he was about 13 years old in this movie, and the reason why I'm saying that he's around 12 or 13
in the flashback.
In the flashback, yes, because later on in the movie, we hear that his mom passed away when he was 10 years old. Well, at this point in time, we could tell that she's been gone for a little while because he had been acting out. And Kim, in the flashback, Kim is talking with Jeff's dad. And he mentions that his little brother, Adam, wasn't old enough to remember his mother. So he was not going to respond or act the same way Jeff had been acting. He had been acting out in school or, I guess in the neighborhood or whatever, right? Kim tells him there's some place that he can take him that'll help with his attitude, and they decide to take him to a Kempo martial arts academy, and that's where he's introduced to martial arts. You have anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, I thought his dad was a punk.
Oh, his dad was.
I hate his dad. His dad, because his dad was gonna bring him to a military school.
Right.
He's like, I got to get this kid out of here. I was bringing him to a military school, and Kim was like, "All right, we'll pump the brakes. You could just bring him to a Kempo school." And he's like, "What the heck is that?" And then he tries it. He's like Kim is basically like saving. Like if he didn't say that, like Jeff would have.
Yeah, he would have been shipped off.
Yeah, like what the hell, man?
Right. So he goes. He goes. He gets enrolled into this Kempo school, and he's learning martial arts. And it looks like he's a little weak at first. He sucks a little bit. He even gets knocked down by a girl. Like I don't know what they were doing. They were all standing in line next to each other.
Yeah. And
they were just hitting each other like in the stomach or chest. And he gets hit by a girl, and he falls down, and she helps him up. And he's watching some of the other participants in the class, and she's explaining things to him. Right. And we could start to see him taking it all in, and he's getting into the martial arts, and he's practicing in his bedroom. His brother is trying to be like him. And that was another weird thing also, that his brother did not jump in and want to do martial arts also.
It probably did. But his dad, I mean, think about it. Remember, his dad was a jerk. His dad's right?
Yeah,
his dad's probably like, I ain't spend no money on both of you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so. Especially, because the part that's coming up. So Jeff is getting good. We see him going through his different belt ranks as he's in the class, and we see him go all the way up to brown belt. And by the time he's brown belt, he's not a little kid anymore. He is a teenager.
Yeah.
And so I would think he is around, I'm going to say he has to be around 17 or 18 years old.
Sure.
Yeah, because he gets his black belt, and then they have a little ceremony. He gets his black belt, and, he's happy. And then the incident happens at the school. He is going to, him and his brother, well, actually, Jeff was actually practicing pole vaulting, and he was, jumping over, what is that called? That almost like a field goal.
It's a pole vault.
That's what it's called?
Yeah.
What's the pole? So the pole is just called the pole? I don't
know if it has a different name.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, anyway, that's beside the point anyway.
Yeah.
So he was practicing pole vaulting, right? And him and his brother are leaving off the field, and a football player decides to bully them, and he's telling them to get off the field and hurry up. And they were leaving anyway. And his little brother, is the one that's running his mouth and talking and taking things to a whole nother level with this guy. Jeff kind of just plays it off and walks off. His brother turns around, gives the football player the finger. And the football player pimp slaps Adam. That's the little brother. He turns around and just slaps him across the face. The brother falls down, has a busted nose or mouth. He's bleeding. His face is bleeding. And that pisses Jeff off. Now, this pissed me off because I never thought about kicking anybody in the head with a roundhouse kick who is wearing a football helmet.
Yes.
He kicks this football player in the head.
I wouldn't have chose that one.
Yeah, he kicked him in the head with the roundhouse kick. Then he front snap kicks him in the body, which I understood. But then he does another roundhouse kick to this guy's head.
Meanwhile, the guy never moved.
He doesn't move.
He's just standing here.
He's just standing there still. And then he does a jump crescent kick and kicks the guy in the head, and the guy falls down. He's knocked out, right? And everybody comes and surrounds him. I guess he gets in some serious trouble because of this. Because the next scene that we see is he's coming out of the high school with his dad, and his dad is just giving him a problem.
Meanwhile, this is all still a flashback while Jeff is driving the car. Nothing has really happened in the movie yet.
Nothing yet. But this is important because
it absolutely is.
Because his dad was so frustrated with him and told him, like, I knew that Kempo wasn't good for you because now you're dangerous now, And my thought was, okay, number one, he just protected his little brother. He just helped his little brother out, who was assaulted by someone who was a lot bigger than him. But the football player was bigger than both of them.
Oh yeah.
So he just stood up for his brother. And during this time, there shouldn't have been any other problems with Jeff. If there was, they definitely didn't see it. So we to me, it seemed like he turned his life around and, became a better person,
Right.
And so I didn't understand, why his dad was so upset at him, And now he was so upset. He told Jeff, like, leave the house, pack your stuff and leave, and stay away from Adam, stay away from your brother. Because
what did you feel? What did you feel when that happened?
I was on his side. I thought that was great. Yeah, he's like I there was a time where I had to do that for my brother, for Travis. There was a fight when we had just moved onto our block. We had been there for a couple of months, and a bigger kid was down the street, started to pick on Travis when we were playing basketball, and it was a situation, and me and the guy ended up having a fight, but I didn't understand because Jeff even goes to his instructor, and his instructor was a little bit upset with him also. And
it's like, he can't win.
He can't win. Everybody's upset with him. So then he leaves, and that was the end of the flashback.
I was pissed at his dad and his brother Adam at the same time.
Why are you mad at Adam?
Because he told Adam, leave it alone. Let's just go. Go.
Yeah,
he couldn't leave well enough alone. Adam couldn't leave well enough alone.
But he's a little brother.
Boom! And gave him a double barrel. If he didn't do that, nothing would have happened. And Adam did that knowing you can't touch me because my big brother will whoop you. So he does that. He gets busted up. And what is it? When Adam gets busted up, what's he do? He looks right at Jeff.
He looks right. Yeah, he does.
Help me. Like, right then, I'd have been like, you jerk. You dragged me into this. I didn't want nothing to do with this.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's why I'd have been pissed at both of them. And then now all of a sudden you got to pack up and leave because I saved you?
Yeah, somebody should have said something about it. So anyway, he ends up leaving. They never said where he goes. He just leaves.
That's a good point. That's true.
he just leaves. So we see him coming back. So that's the end of the flashback. We see him coming back, and he goes right to Kim's store. Now, inside of Kim's store, the mafia guys have returned, and basically it's not just one guy this time; it's multiple guys, and they're smashing up the antiques in the antique store, and that's when one of them busts out the window, and Jeff grabs him and pulls him outside, and he comes in.
That was a dope move. That was a cool move. I like that.
Now, my problem with this scene is all of these drug dealers around. You know, I'm not in the drug game, you know, but I know some stuff. You know, not one of these guys. Well, actually, only one of these guys had a gun.
You don't have anything. There's no way. All right, I'm not in the drug game either. I'm not, and never have been. But you don't. It's pretty simple. It's pretty common knowledge. You see it around. You know, if you're involved whatsoever or connected whatsoever, you have a gun. Yes. Everybody has at least one.
Right.
And
so
if you're doing anything like that, it's on you.
Right. So only one guy does, and he pulls his gun out. Jeff has something, a knife or something. He throws at the guy, and he hits him in his hand, and he shoots the gun off up to the ceiling or whatever. And Jeff, it's about 4 or 5 guys in this place, and Jeff comes in, and he beats them all up. And they get up. They're not knocked out because they get up and they leave. Inside of the antique store, also with Kim, when all of this is going on, is a young boy. His name is Jimmy. Did you recognize Jimmy?
Yep. He was
Rufio.
My man, yeah. He's Rufio in the Hook.
Yeah, that's right. He was Rufio in Hook. Did you recognize Kim also?
Yes. There's a few other people. Kim, I can't remember where Kim was from. What I recognize.
Sidekicks. The movie Sidekicks that we reviewed. Yes.
And then the bad guy that we'll talk about later, he's from another movie as well, but we'll talk about that. So there's a few other guys that we see in other martial arts movies.
Right.
That's kind of what they do. They retread a lot of these guys.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is their niche.
Right.
And they get typecasted.
Right. Right. So Jeff comes in, he beats these guys up. You know, Jimmy warned him. Jimmy's just not a regular kid. Like, Jimmy is a street kid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he told him that he needs to go. Like, you know, you just beat up the Korean mafia. You know, like, you're dead. Pretty much, you're dead. You need to get out of town or whatever.
You got a price tag on you now.
Right. You know. You know, these guys walk out. They leave. And, you know, Kim tells pretty much Jeff what's going on. What's going on? What's happening? Who these guys were, and you know what they were there for. You have anything else?
No, that was pretty much it. I like the fight scene. Fight scene was cool. And you know what? Yeah. I liked the simplicity of the fight scene. But... Yeah,
it was not overdone. Like you said, you know, it wasn't like, you know, him jumping off walls, doing a cartwheel, then doing a flip, then doing a 360, and then landing on somebody's neck. It wasn't anything like that.
Yeah, I like the simplicity. The attacks were pretty lame. They pretty much sucked. You know, they were weird. There was like guys, you know, like with a knife going, just a super, you know, old school lunge attack. Like, come on now, let's get out of here with that.
Right. So, you know, Kim pretty much boards up his house. Well, the antique store. Well, we find out that he lives there also.
Yeah, he's probably like lives upstairs.
Yeah, he lives upstairs. So he's there, and you know, he tells Jeff who Jimmy is, that he's a street kid, and he lets him stay with him from time to time. You know, Jeff decides after they board up the window, he wants to go for a walk. And Kim tells him, okay, you know, that's fine. You know, I'll talk to you in the morning. Jeff leaves. He goes for a walk. Kim is in his bed, and Tanaka comes. Now, Tanaka is he is the main guy's bodyguard.
Yeah, he's a big fat dude, right?
Yeah, an enforcer also. Yeah. So what he does also, he kills before he comes to see Kim, he kills the first guy who spoke to Kim about, you know, having the drugs in his store. I guess that guy failed the boss, so he needs to be dealt with. And then he comes see Kim, and he kills Kim. Jeff comes back, and he doesn't see Tanaka kill Kim. He just sees him leaving. He just sees Kim in bed dead, and then he takes off running after his car. Now, this part I thought was a little bit fake because I thought there's no way you're going to catch up to him. And I hope they don't try and make us think that it's possible that this guy catches up to this car. So I was a little bit scared that was about to happen.
Right.
After that, I guess Jeff decides to call the police. The police come, and because he does not catch up with Tanaka, the police come to the apartment to check things out. And one of the police officers who comes in is actually Jeff's brother, Adam. He's all grown up now, and he's a detective. He's there investigating what went on there. And then he sees his brother. And obviously he has not seen his brother in years up to this point, just by how they looked at each other and the conversations that they had with each other. And he tells him, he tells his brother that, to stay out of it. And his brother says, no, I'm a police officer. I'm going to figure this out. Kim was like family, and then he leaves his brother and goes off and does his own thing while his brother investigates. Now, this next part was a little interesting to me. Jeff decides that he's going to go into a gym and ask some questions looking for a particular person.
Stupid.
I don't know who he was looking for because he had a description, because when he walked into this gym, he was asking people, if you look, he gave the guy's height and he gave that he had a tattoo. I don't know. Like, I missed something, like how he knew who he was looking for. I
don't know that either.
Okay. So that just wasn't me. Okay.
Bad part of the movie.
Now, what did you think about this gym? Because to me, it reminded me of Kronk Gym, because it was like a karate school. It was like a boxing gym, but they were doing karate and kickboxing in the gym.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it just kind of seemed like it was like a boxing gym / kickboxing gym.
Yeah.
And there's something. I didn't really think too much of it.
Okay. The reason I find that interesting, because I don't really walk in too many karate schools that are like that. Most of the time when I walk into a karate school, it's the mats, it's a class going on. This was almost like you had coaches and trainers working one-on-one with a fighter,
So that's like what he walked into is like a kickboxing gym.
Yeah.
That is common.
Yeah, okay. So I've never walked into a real kickboxing. The only other kind of kickboxing gyms that I've walked into are like aerobic cardio kickboxing gyms.
Yeah, no, that's
not a gym like this. Like this was a badass gym. Like, you could tell, like, these were some serious fighters and competitors. That would be interesting if there was a karate school, a karate gym like that for sport karate. Can you imagine that? Like, how good would a person be, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, some part of me feels like that would be awesome. A part of me feels like I would hate it, because if it's sport karate, that means you're also going to have a lot of forms. How much extra screaming and techno music are you going to hear?
No. But this is a fight gym.
Oh,
no forms.
Then I'd love it.
Okay, this is a fight gym where you have all these different instructors working one-on-one with you. And you probably, if it's like boxing, then you're probably working with this person not just for one class or 45 minutes or 60 minutes. You're probably, most of the times, fighters are working out for like 3 or 4 hours.
So those exist a lot in Europe.
Okay.
Because they don't have like, a lot of them aren't martial arts schools. There's just kickboxing clubs. And for the most part, if they're successful, they're basically like a karate school, but without the karate. They're just point fighting, right? They just teach them the moves, and then like, all right, let's just try some in a drill scenario. But they have 3 levels: full contact, semi-contact, and point fighting. And they just do everything like that.
Okay. Okay.
Like the karate school with the Hungarians, all they do is point fighting. They don't do anything else. All they do is point fighting. Right?
I text Trav the other day, or sent him a message. I sent him some type of message the other day and told him that I am for the time being, I'm stopping teaching forms. I'm not going to teach forms right now because it's just entirely too hard, to teach forms on Zoom, because most of the classes are on Zoom right now.
I told you should get rid of the beginner one. Get rid of the beginner one.
I definitely, I have to. I just can't do it anymore. You know. Yeah. It's just but that's another conversation.
Yeah.
So anyway, so back to the movie.
Yep.
So he's in this kickboxing gym, and he's asking questions. Nobody wants to talk to him. So then he decides that he's just going to fight. He's just going to spar. And not only one person, he said, well, I'll take all three of you guys on. He just picked three guys and said, okay, let's fight. And if I win, I want some answers, pretty much. And of course, he beats these guys up, and I guess he gets the answer that he's looking for, And do you have anything? Did you like the fight scenes?
The fight scenes are all right. They're okay.
But this was hokey. This is he would have got extreme. Come on, there's no way somebody would have walked into my uncle's karate school when we were there in the 90s and said and asked to challenge three of us to a fight. There's no way this would have went down.
You know what though? I bet it's happened. I bet it has. I bet somebody has walked in and challenged. I've had somebody walk in and challenge me before.
The people who came to our karate school looking for some fun, they didn't get the results that this guy got.
No. Well, neither did the guy. There was a guy who walked in, challenged me, and he goes, "I'm gonna challenge the master here." And I'm looking around like, and I'm like 20 years old at this time, right? And I'm like, well, I'm the only guy here, thinking he's gonna go, well, all right, whatever then. And he goes, all right, well, I'll take you on. This guy's big, and I'm like, come on now.
Did he have uniform? Was he a martial artist or
no.
just somebody off the street?
Just somebody off the street. And I said, hey, you know what? Why don't you just kind of like, feel it out? Because literally, it was like perfect timing. Class just ended. Karate school just emptied. So I said, hey, why don't you just go hit that pad a little bit? Maybe you just work some stress out. So I wanted to eyeball him, and he was trash. So I'm like, all right, let's do this thing. And I did it. And I destroyed him. Right? If I'd have done it now, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, I mean, because now you.
But nobody could see it. Nobody was there to watch it.
Oh, you were in there by yourself.
By myself. So when I told the owner, when I told John Worley about this, he was pissed. He was so pissed
that you did it.
That I did it because he's like, you have no idea what could have happened. What if he had his lawyer in the car with him?
Exactly.
He goes, the whole school would have went down. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. You don't really think about stuff like that when you're 20.
You didn't think about having to sign a waiver or anything.
No, we just went at it.
Anyway, okay, so Jeff's little brother, he's going around and he's trying to get questions and he's asking questions and he's trying to get answers. And I guess Jeff finds out he gets some information. Let's fast forward a little bit. Yeah. We're gonna go to this funeral. So we have the funeral for Kim. And not Alex. Adam and Jeff are there. Now Jeff he's toward the front of the room, and Adam and the dad, they're toward the back. Jeff gets up and turns around, I guess after paying his respects, and he sees his dad. His dad sees him, and his dad just walks out. I'm thinking like, wow, like you still have a problem with your son for some weird reason. That never really got resolved, I don't think, throughout this whole movie.
No. Not even in the end.
Yeah, not even in the end. It didn't really get it resolved, And then his brother comes up to him and asks and said, hey, I heard there was a kid who was staying with Kim. Do you know anything about it? And Jeff didn't want to give him any answers because he just saw the kid at the funeral also. And he took off after the kid. The kid ran for whatever reason. And then Adam takes off after him and he says, like, you're messing up my investigation. That was the kid. How come, you didn't tell me about him, this, that, and the other. But, Jeff, I'm going to tell you, Jeff really doesn't want his brother involved because he knows at the end of the day, my brother is a police officer and I'm going to kill the person who killed Kim.
Yep.
He was not trying to bring him in. He was like, I'm just going to kill him.
I actually think he is still semi trying to protect his brother too. This is kind of almost like, you know what? Let me just handle it. It's almost like he has like like a sense of like self-loathing. Like, hey, if I die trying to figure this out, whatever. But I don't want you. You know what I mean? But like, all right, they take me out. I don't care. I'm gonna go reckless with this thing. I'll go after anybody. You got to let your life ahead of you. Almost something like that.
Probably so. So now, but actually, that gave Jeff an idea also, because now he wants to talk to Jimmy and find out what he knows also. So now he's going out and he's looking for Jimmy also to get some answers. Now another weird thing that happened also at the funeral. He saw his instructor. His instructor saw him, and also the girl. I'm assuming this was the girl from when he was younger, when he was in the class, because they both stopped. They looked at Jeff, and then they just kind of walked off. And my thing was, why are these people still mad at him? Are they still mad at him for a high school fight?
Apparently, I don't know.
Yeah, we never got any answers. We never found out. Even at the end, we never found out. What was the issue? So he goes off and he is looking for Jimmy. And actually, he goes to, we're going to fast forward a little bit. He goes to Kim's store, and he's standing in front of Kim's store, and a man approaches him. Now, actually, he went to a club first.
Yeah, I was waiting for this one.
Yeah. He goes to a club.
We can fast forward a bunch more, but this scene was cool.
Yeah, he ends up fighting. He ends up fighting in this club. Right,
in the club. So did you notice? So he's the only white dude there, and everybody else is Asian.
Yeah,
and it's not just like, all right, they're mean mugging, all right, and they're just looking at him the whole time, because it's like, all right, you get it. You're the only white dude. Everybody here is Asian. It's kind of like an unspoken thing, like, don't come here unless you're Asian. Like, I get that. You need to look at him like, all right, get that. But it's like they want to get face to face with him. They walked right up to him, like, I dare you to touch me, kind of thing. It's just like, and he can't, because there's like 40 of them.
Yeah. But he did. They ended up having a fight in there, and he ends up getting beat up. Tanaka's there, and Tanaka is about to kill him when he gets knocked out, and he's on the ground, and someone stops him and tells him let him go. And the next scene is when we see Young. Young approaches Jeff at Kim's store. I'm just going to go ahead and spoil it right now.
Good.
Like, Young is the guy. He's the bad guy. And the moment I saw this, I knew this was him. This was the guy that was just in the club that stopped Tanaka. As soon as I saw him,
wasn't disguised well enough.
No, it wasn't. As soon as I saw it, I knew this was him. But anyway, he tells Jeff that someone else is the person that killed Kim. He says his name was Sam. Go find Sam. He's going to be heavily guarded, so you're going to have to find a way to get into this place. When you get in there, go ahead and kill him. And if I do it, it's going to start a war between the two factions. And I don't know if they call it Koreatown or not.
I think they call it Koreatown. Yeah,
they did. Okay,
but wonder what major city has Koreatown.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. For some reason, I kept thinking this was either in Texas or San Francisco. I don't know why I keep thinking that. But they never showed the Golden Gate Bridge. And anytime they show San Francisco, they're going to show the Golden Gate Bridge. But I don't know. I don't know what city this was in. Well, anyway, so he does that. He does exactly what Young tells him to do. And he sneaks in he gets into Sam's looks like a apartment condo complex, something like that. He beats up all of Sam's guys, and he's about to kill Sam when Jimmy is there, and Jimmy stops him, and Jimmy tells him it was actually Young who killed Kim. And my second time, Jimmy, the second time I watched this movie, I realized Jimmy knew what was going to happen, because if you remember, when Jeff was at the apartment talking with Kim, Jimmy came in and Jimmy says, "Hey, I'm going to go stay with Sam tonight." It was right after the fight, and he was looking weird. He was looking funny. So I knew, okay, I was thinking like, okay, is Jimmy going to come back and do something, because he's not looking right. He's not acting right. So he knew that Korean mafia was going to come back that night. And honestly, Kim should have known it too. Kim probably shouldn't have been staying there either solo, or had something under his pillow.
But Jimmy's he kind of seems like, all right, he's like, all right, man, I've learned in life, you run when you got to run, and right now I got to run. So if you're not following, you're getting eaten up. So deuces.
Yeah. So he told Jeff like it was actually Young who killed Kim or had Kim killed. So now, Jeff had to really feel bad at this point in time because he had been with, Young all of this time. He could have had him, killed him, and been done with everything, So now he decides that he's going to go and get Young. So he's going to go find Young. But what he ends up doing, he ends up talking to his brother. And he tells his brother that he found a witness to the murder. And he tells his brother that it was Tanaka.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he uses Jimmy. He uses Jimmy to, give a positive ID saying that Tanaka is the person that does the murder. Because now they want to. Jeff is, like you said, Jeff is trying to keep his brother out of harm's way, but also he wants to arrest Tanaka. So his brother thinks everything is over and done. Then that gives him the opportunity to go kill Young himself. You know, yeah. So Jimmy points out Tanaka and said, "Yep, that's him. That's the guy who does it." Tanaka sees him. I don't know how he pictured it or figured it out, but Jimmy held up a newspaper. He's in the back of a car. He holds up a newspaper and through the newspaper,
because it was stupid. Because he's got the little eye holes.
He has the eye holes in the newspaper.
In the newspaper, he just holds the thing up. Like, what the heck is this? Then nobody to do like the mirror trick, nothing. Like these guys kill you.
But this is my problem. Like when you're because they were at a drive up bank. It wasn't the ATM, but it was the
bank teller.
The bank teller. So he's at the drive-up bank teller. You're not paying attention to the other cars. I've never paid attention to the other cars around me, So, my thing was, okay, so they were kind of next to him, but he looked directly in the back seat at Jimmy. And he saw Jimmy, and then that's when Tanaka decided just to peel off, And Adam gets on his walkie-talkies and he tells all the other police officers to get him, and wild chase, car chase happens, which was pretty funny to me because this guy is in a limo and he is weaving in and out of traffic and he's just driving erratic, and they eventually catch up with him and they end up catching him, right?
Yep.
And they put him in the back of a police car. Adam thanks Jeff for the help, and Jeff gets ready to confess what he did. He's getting ready to tell, like, look, I know who really killed him. This was just a ploy, pretty much. I wanted to distract you while I go after the real bad guy. In the back of the police cruiser. Adam is in the police cruiser and also another officer, and Tanaka's in the back. Tanaka gets loose. He gets free. And
did you? You know what though? I guess one thing. Isn't it interesting that in the car chase scenes in movies, why is it that everybody is able to maneuver their cars so perfectly at high speeds?
I remember thinking,
idea. Like, it's a limousine. Like, there's no chance. There's no chance I'm able to make 2 of those turns this guy made.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah. And also, another thing is Jeff thought that Young would be in the back seat of this limo, and he wasn't.
Right.
Because he was upset because he ran right to the limo and looked in the back seat because he thought Young would be back there, and he wasn't. But anyway, back in the limo, Jeff breaks the fence that is separating the criminals from the officers, and he ends up hitting them in the back of their heads, and they end up having an accident and flipping the police cruiser over, and he gets out.
Yeah, Tanaka. Well, because remember he got shocked with
50,000
volts. Remember the first time he got shocked though too?
Yeah, he took it off.
He gets shocked. He's like, ah.
Yeah.
Boom. He just pulls it out. Just like, get the heck out of here. I'm not shocking it, man. I'm shocking a horse. Like, what?
And then he turns around and does it again. Adam turns around and does it again. And then, lights him up.
What?
So then he falls down. But still, he has enough strength. And they didn't even put the handcuffs behind his back.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was because he was too big, I guess.
Because he's too big. Yeah.
So they had him in front, and he ends up, they end up having this accident, and he gets free, right? And he gets a gun. He takes Adam's gun, and he shoots Adam. And I thought that Adam was dead. Like, okay, well... because the next scene, Adam is in the hospital, and he's just in there talking. I thought, wait a minute, he got shot point blank
in the head. In the head, point blank. And it wasn't even like he was laying on the ground.
Yes, he was laying on the ground.
It's not even like, all right, it hit you, but it was like you're there's nowhere for it to go but your face. But apparently not.
Yeah,
whatever.
I guess. I don't know. So, in the hospital, Jeff sees his dad and they have a little talk. Jeff is not, that's the first time they've ever spoken since he was a teenager. I don't even remember the conversation that they had with each other. I just remember Jeff walking away, upset.
Okay, there's one thing in this scene right here that you're talking about. I literally had to pause it, rewind it, and go back and watch it again because I could not believe what I was watching. And if you watch this movie again, you're going to see at this part, you're going to be like, no way they actually did this.
Tell me. Right.
So if you notice, Jeff has got the same like 5-6 o'clock shadow throughout the whole movie, right?
Yeah, okay.
Clearly, he had to shave at one point.
Yeah, of course.
But this scene, he didn't have that 5 o'clock shadow.
Are you talking about when he was on the roof or when he was with his dad in the hospital?
After the hospital scene.
Okay, yeah.
They painted a 5 o'clock shadow on his face. It's visibly so easy to see. They have painted it on his face.
I agree.
I agree. What? I was watching it with my wife, and I'm like, no, Lynn, check this out. Check this out.
Yeah. So then, so now Jimmy actually has still been on the street, and he has found out that Young is planning a getaway. He's going to get out of here. He's going to make a run for it. He's going to get on a boat, and I'm assuming he's going to take the boat back to Korea. And
he owned the boatyard, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So he ends up telling Jeff what Young's plans were, right? And then they go to the boatyard to pay attention, and he sees everything, and he says, okay, I'm going to come back here tonight. He goes home and he grabs weapons. He lays all his knives out.
All his martial arts weapons.
All his martial arts weapons.
Why is that it? Like in the martial arts, and they're like, all right, we're going into the final battle. Where's my blow dart gun?
Yeah.
Where's my grappling hook?
Yeah.
What? How about a Glock? They fire no matter what.
So he goes, and they go back. And that night he decides to go back to this boatyard, and he pole vaults over the fence.
I thought that was interesting. Like, all right, high school skills come into use. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, but where did he find that at? Like where did he find a pole big enough, that big, that will bend? Because it bent when he jumped over the fence, because the fence had barbed wire over the top, and he cleared it, and he ends up landing in front of a security guard. He ends up taking that guy out, and then he goes to the building. He looks in. He sees that they're packaging up drugs and everything, and he decides that he's going to jump in and have a fight. He goes in. He beats up some guys until he finds Kim, and then him and Kim have their little altercation. Now he has the opportunity to kill Kim here, but he doesn't. He beats up Kim, and as we see, Kim has a knife in his sleeve because he gets ready to kill Kim, and he stops.
Young.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, Young. Thank you. He's beating up Young, and he's about to kill him, and he stops, and he turns around, and Young pulls this knife out from his sleeve, and he tries to stab Jeff in his back. But when he does it, he gets one of his martial arts sticks.
Like he planned it. Like just a stick. Like not even like
just a stick.
All right, you got me in this big book. I plan on possibly getting shanked. Like one stick. Like you got.
He was lucky. He was lucky. He got right there. So then he turns around, and we think that he's about to kill Young. We think that he's about to kill Young this time because we see him hold his hand up, and then we cut away and we see Tanaka approaching. Tanaka is on a boat coming from somewhere else.
Probably coming to pick up Young.
Right. So now we see Jeff with Young's body. Now, this was stupid to me. We see him with his body. He dumps him down. And when he dumped him down, like he did not see Tanaka coming from his peripheral at all. He doesn't even hear him. Tanaka comes up the steps, and we're at a different angle, so we can clearly see him coming. And I'm thinking, like, all of these different angles, they're showing us how come he does not hear him or see him coming. Like, you know when somebody else is around you or coming close to you. And, you know, he didn't hear that or see anything at all. And Tanaka was able to grab him, and they ended up fighting. At this point in time, we don't know what happened to Young at this point. We just saw him laying down on the ground. Tanaka is getting the best of Jeff, but then, of course, Jeff turned it around because he is the hero of this movie. They had a pretty good fight scene. Tanaka had this weapon that was like a belt, but had like a knife on the end of it.
Yeah,
and he was swinging it around and throwing it. That was goofy. Them throwing that back and forth at each other. One of the times where Jeff threw it at him, it got stuck in
like a pallet or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because when he did, I don't know. It had something to do with gasoline, I think. Because when
it got stuck and it was in a propane tank.
Yes, okay. Because when he had hit that it, when Tanaka pulled it out, it was all of the steam start coming out.
Yeah.
And he was getting ready to throw this weapon back at Jeff again, and Jeff ran over. He grabbed, what did he see on the ground? Was it chains or?
There were chain links.
Okay, so he threw that and at this propane tank, and then it exploded.
Massive propane tank.
Yes.
Like a 500-gallon propane tank.
Yes, and it blew up, Tanaka also. Now, when that happened, I said that had to be at least 75% of the budget of this movie. Because nothing else really happened. Like nothing else that should have spent a lot of money.
Oh
like
my
that,
gosh, you're right.
That had to be the most expensive part of the movie. You know?
That's pretty dang funny.
I mean, the only other thing that might have cost a little bit of money was the car scene. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Nothing else should have cost a lot of money when it came to this movie, you know?
Hey, that's martial arts movies in the early 90s, man. That's what it was like.
So then we see Jeff. He has a duffel bag, and he's coming toward the police. And, of course, like in every movie, the police come after everything ends. The police show up. Like, where were you guys before?
5 minutes ago?
5 minutes, 10 minutes, anytime. But they come right at the end. He dumps the duffel bag out, and Young is on the inside. And I thought, you idiot. That's what I thought. You idiot. Because this is the boss of a Korean mafia. He has other people. It's like, you're just not sending this guy to jail and thinking that's going to be the end of it. Like, Jeff, you're not going to be around for the sequel. Like, this is going to be the end of you. You know, all this guy got to do is make one phone call. And there's no other telling what other type of political connections this guy has. You know, he could have been back out on the street.
All right, what'd you think about that final fight
between Tanaka and Jeff?
Yeah.
It was all right, man. It was. I mean, it's only so much you can do with somebody that's at that size.
I actually liked most all the fight scenes except that one. I thought Jeff should have died 4 times.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I took notes. I was like, what was it? He should have died. Like Young should have stabbed him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He should have. Boom. You should have said. So like when he hit him in the stick,
Yeah.
like, come on now, no, you'd already been dead. All right. The big dude would have just literally just smashed him tonight.
Yeah, because he got shot with what's the gun? Not a stun gun, but it was
like a taser.
Yeah, taser. Yeah, taser. He took that taser like a G.
You're not gonna affect him.
Yeah. So he shouldn't have beat him. This guy was in a car accident. He flew in the back of a police cruiser.
At the very least, that final explosion,
was
so big.
Yeah,
it would have blown him up too.
I didn't think about that. You're right. It should have.
That tank was so massive. That was a 500-gallon, minimum 500-gallon propane tank. That would have destroyed everything around.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But, so after that, he goes, Jeff decides that he's going to go and see his martial arts instructor. We don't know what they said. There was no dialogue. They just looked at each other and bowed. And the young girl that was there, she closed the doors to the dojo, and that was the end of the movie.
That looked creepy to me because she, ever since when they're adults now, she's been like flirty eyeballing him, right?
Yeah.
And then like he approaches the school, she's still giving him this flirty eyeball look, but her dad's right behind her.
Is that her dad?
It kind of seemed like
I don't know. It did, but
it really seemed like it. So now I'm like, your dad's right there, And then then it's just like we bow. Like there was literally what was the so the only thing we know is that Jeff's dad sucks, right?
Yeah.
Jeff should just go to Mexico. Just be gone. Get out of here. Don't just.
Well, he might not come. He might not come back now. He might leave again because from what I saw, nothing resolved between him and his dad. I'm quite sure his dad's probably going to blame him for his brother being shot in the head and in the hospital. So that can't help their relationship too much.
I'd be pissed if I was Jeff. I'd be like, what the heck did I come back for? What am I back here for? It was chaos. They told me to get the heck out. I come back just to say hi, and everybody dies.
And everybody has a problem with me because I had a fight in high school. Everybody, they treated him like Hermie the elf from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Think of that.
Goodness. Yeah, they get out of here. They didn't want to have anything to do with him. So hey,
it's not bad though. All in all,
yeah, it wasn't bad.
If
I saw this movie in the 90s when I was a teenager, I probably would have liked it. Like I
would have loved it.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. It's just me looking at it from, a different set of eyes, older eyes, and 30 years later, because it's 91 and it's 2021 now. So 30 years later, we look at it. Yeah. So, it's not bad. If you guys want to watch it and be entertained, laugh a little bit based upon the things that Alex and I have said, then it won't be that bad. You won't hate the movie. I don't hate the movie. I've seen a lot worse movies than this.
Yeah, it's a good martial arts movie. If you're not in martial arts, there's really not a reason to watch it. But
that's it. Yeah, if you're not, I don't know. I guess if you're not a martial artist, but if you like action movies,
but. There's not an actor or actress in this movie that you would know.
No.
So if you're not in martial arts,
that's
literally the only reason. Like, this is martial arts. This guy, he's a perfect weapon. Like just him and his hands. All right, cool.
Let's explain that.
Why they call him the perfect weapon?
Yeah. Why they call?
How was that again?
Weapon? Well, it was because Young explained it. When Young sent him to kill Sam, he said that he could not do it because, it would cause a war. And the same thing with Sam. Sam could not kill Young because it would cause a war. But because Jeff was an outsider, that they could send him to do, that he would be the perfect weapon that they could send to kill the other one. Whether it was Young trying to send him to kill Sam or Sam sending him to kill Young. Yeah. So he was the perfect weapon to take out the rival, So other than that,
another reason not to come back.
Well, I wondered if they did a sequel to this movie. You know, because a lot of those old movies back in the day, they have sequels. Kickboxer has a sequel.
Kickboxer has like 5 or 6.
Yeah. What's the other movie Van Damme did? I can't think of it. Anyway, it's one of his earlier movies, not Lionheart. I don't think it was Lionheart, but there was another one. That
Hard Target. I don't know. He's got a lot. He's got a lot, man.
Anyway, I think about it. I'll put it on the Martial Arts Internet Network under this post. I'll put it there. All right. You got anything else? What's going on with Inside Scoop this week, man?
Inside Scoop this week. We don't have a guest this week because we go every other. We just had Sean Elliott and Gina Thornton on last week. That was a cool one. This week it's just going to be Jeff and I. We got some cool topics that we're going to come up with. All right, I'll give it a little drop for this one. So this one, okay. So when you tell someone goes, "Oh, what do you do?" If you ever mention or if it somehow comes up that you're in martial arts or you're a black belt, there's immediately a list where you can script what's going to be said next.
Oh yeah.
We're going to talk about that. All right?
Okay, I got you.
So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about different things as far as tournaments as well. But the week after that, our next guest that we're going to have his name is Rob Zabilski. He's the president of Waco USA.
Okay.
So, yeah. So that'll be cool to have him on. Those stories, oh, man, I can't touch. We might have to have a disclaimer because he has to get, R-rated with some of this stuff for it to really have its depth because it is awesome. I'll say that.
Right. I'm gonna make sure I check that out. I got to get caught up on. Actually, I got to get caught up on CTE and I got to get caught up on Inside School. I haven't listened to either of the shows in about 2 weeks.
CTE's last one was really cool because it was the draft.
Yeah, it was the draft. So I got to drive up to Flint tomorrow. So it's a nice little ride there and back. So I could listen to get caught up on all the Martial Arts Internet Network shows.
So you know what I do? Tomorrow. Here's what I do. So I create busy work for myself. Like today, like it was snowing a little bit, not enough for it to really matter. It was eventually going to melt, but I'm like, babe, don't worry about it. I'll shovel. She's like, no, don't worry about it. I'm like, no, really, my pleasure. I got caught up. I made sure I just went and shoveled over a couple areas at the same time, just so I could catch up again. Great busy stuff.
Yeah, but I don't have nobody to come up with a lie for. It's just me. I'm gonna be lying to myself.
Never mind. You gotta figure it out.
I'm about to go to the store right quick. All right, everybody. So that's it for us for this week. I have no idea what movie or who is going to be my co-host next week. You're just going to have to tune in and find out. So that's it for us here on the Martial Arts Internet Network on Fist, Kicks, and Flicks. Make sure you check us out every Wednesday. Make sure you check out CTE on Tuesdays and also the Inside Scoop on Thursdays. For everyone here at the Martial Arts Internet Network, Happy New Year. Stay safe, stay strong. Director, play my music.
Disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.